and welcome to a special Bonaroo edition of D-Link TV. I'm Sherry, and I'm here with Tom Porter, who is head of network operations for the whole entire Bonaroo Festival. Right now, we're standing on the top of a tower with some of our D-Link products. So Tom, can you tell us why it's so important to have a network here at a festival such as Bonaroo?
Well, absolutely. There's 80,000 fans here, and to support all of those fans and basically put everything together, there's about 5,000 workers, and most of them communicate, as all workers do now, via email and checking websites and things like that. So what we build here in Tennessee is essentially a town. We start with an empty hayfield, and we have all the infrastructure that any town would have. So there's water, power, telephones, and of course internet. So that's why.
That is amazing. So you take this 700-acre farm and just basically build it up from nothing.
That's correct.
That's completely amazing. So can you tell me why you would choose a company like D-Link to have our products here to help out with the networking?
Well, it's so wonderful having D-Link as a sponsor for a couple reasons. Y'all, the product spectrum spans both consumer gear and professional gear. And the advantage for everybody is that we can use the pro gear for our backhaul and everything, but yet your presence at the consumer level still reaches the patrons who are here. So that's why you guys are a really good fit for this. So
we have some of our business products like our APs and our access points, but we also have some of our consumer products such as our wireless routers like the DIR 655. That's also helping communicate and network this whole operation, correct?
Correct. For the end nodes, we're using the 3200 series APs as well as the 1310s and DIR 655s. Those are what basically almost all the clients on site are associating with one of those three devices.
So Tom, I see behind us we have one of our access points. So can you explain to us how such as this access point will talk to some of our other products that we have spanning over the 700-acre farm?
Absolutely. We're using the 7700s as a wireless backhaul to move internet around the site to the various locations where we're distributing it to end users. The advantage of the 7700s for us is that we're using the A side for backhaul and the BG side for client associations. So the fact that there's dual radios in the device and that it's hardened for this type of environment. It's an outdoor device. We have very significant issues and challenges with power here. Obviously weather, it's an outdoor, very dusty environment. So the fact that the 7700 is a hardened outdoor device with two radios in it, it's affordable, and it really has been working very well for us.
Great, and I know because it has been raining here the past couple of days, how's everything been holding up in the rain?
Well, so far so good. We've got another day and a half to get through.
So can you tell me how many users are actually accessing this whole thing we've got set up here?
Well, as of about noon today, we had 1,300 addresses handed out from our DHCP service. So that's how many clients there are on the network right this minute.
Wow, that's amazing. And what about the bandwidth?
We have 9 meg to the site, and we've been running about 60% saturation on it during the show days. So we're using roughly 5 to 6 meg of bandwidth, and of course it spikes up as traffic does.
So not only are all the attendees able to use the wireless internet access, but we also have the sponsors here as well. Can you tell us how the sponsors are leveraging the internet?
Absolutely. So in addition to the experience of the bands and food and all the things that patrons are doing, a huge part of the Bonaroo experience behind us are vendors and sponsors. And for many of them, access to the internet is crucial to whatever application they're doing to try and extend their brand and market to the patrons here. Right behind us we've got Nokia and Fuse, who are two of the biggest sponsors this year, and they could not be here. They could not operate without the internet. So by using the D-Link gear to provide them with stable and robust connections, we're allowing them to meet their clients and do what they're wanting to do and have a successful festival.
That's great. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So can you tell us about D-Link's Layer 2 core products that we have here on site?
Absolutely. The core switching is also being run on D-Link gear. We've got several DXS 3227s around. Those are 24-port PoE switches. Additionally, every node, well, almost every node is powered by a 3010 PA, a small 8-port switch. So all the core switching is D-Link stuff. We're also using some of the little unmanaged Gigi switches, whose model number I can't remember, but in any case, a lot of those are around the site as well.
Great. So power over Ethernet is obviously a big gig here right now.
Absolutely. Where we're standing, there is no power up here, so everything is coming up via Ethernet from a 3010 PA. Power is also a huge issue because it's all genset power. It's running off a generator. There is no shore power on site. That can be a challenge, and we see no matter what kind of gear we use, we'll see that it's going to take a lot of power spikes, a lot of power drops or fade-offs. So this environment is very, very hard on electronic devices. But the D-Link stuff thus far is holding up well.
So Tom, knowing that we are on a 700-acre farm, I know that there's going to be problems and troubleshooting and issues and different challenges that come up. Can you tell us how D-Link has overcome some of these challenges?
Well, absolutely. The biggest challenge is power. And the power drop-offs and being on genset power is really hard on gear. And so when we do lose a device, and it's inevitable that we will, the advantage of the D-Link stuff is that it's very, very simple to configure. It's not overly complicated the way some of your competitors' devices are. So when we have to replace something, and we haven't had to replace much, but when we do, we just grab a spare, throw the config on very quickly, and swap it out. And that's been wonderful.
So if something does go down, you can take another D-Link product and get it up and running rather quickly because everything is kind of plug and play and more easy to use than, say, someone else's product.
That's correct.
So Tom, can you tell me how the increase in use of wireless handheld devices has changed the infrastructure and design of Bonaroo this year?
Absolutely. It's really interesting because a year ago when we did Bonaroo 2007, there weren't a tremendous number of patrons who were connecting with a laptop or a handheld device. In 2 weeks, a year ago, the iPhone was introduced, and of course everything changed after that. We're seeing a significant number of client associations from iPhones and other portable handheld Wi-Fi devices. What that means in terms of the design is that we have to understand that we're going to be using more bandwidth for patron access than we typically have before. In some ways that means we don't have as much open Wi-Fi as we have previously, but in other ways we still want people to be able to check their email and stuff. So we just have to allow for that. We have a quality of service rule that is limiting handheld devices like an iPhone so that they can't use a tremendous amount of bandwidth, but they still associate and are doing what they need to do.
Great. So again, we're here at Bonaroo 2008. Thanks, Tom, for answering all of our questions and having us as sponsors. I'm Sherry with D-Link TV, and come see us again soon.